Hey everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give you my thoughts on the 2016 edition of the Royal Rumble. Overall, I will have to say that it was definitely a better show than 2014 and 2015. The card was really solid from start to finish. I felt the Rumble match was also better than the previous 2 years, even though it was very predictable in the end, but I'll get to that in a few minutes here. Let's run down the card. The kickoff match was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, with the winning team getting spots in the Royal Rumble match. Mark Henry and Jack Swagger were the winners. Nothing match really, and it was botched at the end. You had Connor out there confused, just standing there not making the save for his partner, and then you had Mark Henry not sure who to pin. And as it turns out, later in the show, Mark Henry came out and was quickly eliminated. So if this was designed for Mark Henry to have one final Royal Rumble appearance, it felt like a waste of time. If he was going to come out there and be in the match, he should have at least gone to do a few things in the Rumble match, but he just came out, was quickly eliminated, and that was that. So really a pointless match. The pay-per-view kicked off on a really high note with Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose for the IC title in a last man standing match. I thought this match was outstanding. Really great match between these two. One of the better last man standing matches in WWE history, in my opinion. I mean, it was really good stuff. These guys worked so well together. Amazing chemistry. You had Owens getting knocked into Michael Cole by Dean Ambrose, and that was a fun moment. I was hoping he would knock out Michael Cole for the entire show, but that's a whole other story. You had kendo stick shots. You had Kevin Owens breaking the kendo stick and literally stabbing Ambrose with it. I thought that was awesome. You had chairs, you had stairs, you had tables, dirty deeds onto the steel chair. Dean Ambrose doing an elbow drop from the top rope through a table onto Kevin Owens. And then at the end you had Kevin Owens stack 2 tables on the outside. Kevin Owens went to the top and was going to, I guess, do a moonsault onto Dean Ambrose, who was laying on a stack of chairs. Ambrose was able to get up and push Owens off the top rope, and Owens went through 2 tables, and he was down for the 10 count. Dean Ambrose retained the IC title. Like I said, great match, definitely worth checking out. Then you had the tag team titles match. You had New Day defending against the Usos. Crowd was booing the Usos. You had Xavier come out with a new trombone, Francesca number 2, to replace the first one. So that made me happy. The trombone is still around, the new trombone. And the crowd was really into the New Day as expected, and New Day retained the tag team titles. Solid match here on the pay-per-view. Then you had Alberto Del Rio versus Kalisto for the US title. This was a fine match, but nothing all that special. Pretty much on par with their previous TV matches. The ante wasn't really upped for this match. Kalisto regained the title. Basically, Alberto Del Rio exposed the turnbuckle and it backfired on him, and Kalisto was able to take advantage and win the title. Then you had Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Charlotte defending the Divas title. One big moment in this match was when Ric Flair kissed Becky and she slapped him, and that caused her to be distracted, and Charlotte attacked her and threw her back in the ring. Then you had Ric Flair accidentally getting attacked by Charlotte. Charlotte attempted a baseball slide. She missed Becky and hit her father. Ric Flair got all worked up and took off his jacket and threw the jacket in the ring, and during this distraction, Charlotte was able to take advantage and retain the title. Then after the match, you had Charlotte beating up Becky, which led to Sasha Banks coming out to a huge pop from the crowd. Little weird booking here. Instead of Sasha just coming straight into the ring and taking out Charlotte, Sasha decides to lay out Becky, and then her and Charlotte act like they're an alliance. But then Sasha turns on Charlotte and gets her out of the ring, puts on the Banks statement, and then gets her out of there. So looks like we're having Sasha Banks versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, maybe Fastlane, but I think the match would be better saved for WrestleMania. Build up Sasha Banks. I mean, she's been the most over diva in recent months, with the crowd chanting her name in almost every match, so why not put her in the main event at WrestleMania? So this was fine if this was setting up WrestleMania. This was well done. Then you had the Royal Rumble match, which started off with Roman Reigns' number 1 to massive boos. This crowd did not like Roman Reigns at all. Rusev was number 2. Reigns made short work of Rusev. And then number 3, AJ Styles, making his WWE debut to a huge pop from the crowd. The crowd was into him like crazy. They were chanting his name through the entire match. And I have to admit, even though I knew this was probably going to happen, I got goosebumps. This was an amazing introduction for AJ Styles. He looked like $1,000,000. He was a star in one night. Really, he got the biggest pop of anybody on this entire show, and he's a guy who's an outsider making his first WWE appearance. So what does that say about the current WWE roster? Or just the fact that this crowd is more of your hardcore wrestling fans, your NXT fans, your Ring of Honor fans, and it's more of a smart mark audience that was aware of who AJ Styles is. So that could be the case as well. But regardless, it's all about the presentation of AJ Styles, and to the casual fans watching at home, this guy came off looking like a star in his first match. So that's really what is important, to make him look impressive in his debut match. And with the crowd reaction and his performance, he fit right in as a top-tier WWE guy. So great debut for AJ Styles. You had the ring fill up with a bunch of guys, including Jericho. And then you had Kofi Kingston coming out, and this year's Kofi angle in the Royal Rumble was he was almost eliminated, but he got on Big E's shoulders as he was being thrown over the top, and he just hung out there on top of Big E's shoulders for a while. So that was the big spot for Kofi. And then you had the League of Nations come out with Vince McMahon leading the way, and they proceeded to beat the crap out of Roman Reigns on the outside of the ring. And this is when the match started to go downhill for me at this point. The whole booking of Roman Reigns at this point really made no sense at all. Why did the League of Nations bother to beat him up and then just leave him there? They should have just thrown him back in the ring and then tossed him out, and then you're done with him. But instead they put him through the announce table and just left him there, which really made no logical sense. But whatever, this is WWE. This is WWE logic here, and they change the rules every year. Roman Reigns walked out. They were going to stretcher him out, but Roman decided to walk out like a man instead of just staying in the match or going out on the stretcher. Whatever. He walked out of the match, so shouldn't he be disqualified from the match? Like I said, they change the rules every year, and they change the rules again later. I'll get to that in a few minutes here. You had Kevin Owens come out and eliminate AJ Styles, which, if anybody was going to eliminate AJ, Owens was probably the best guy to do it, because he's one of the top heels in the company, so you might as well have a top heel eliminate the guy who's really popular. And AJ got a huge chant as he was leaving. The crowd did not turn on this match at this point, which I feared they might, but the crowd was still into it because there were plenty of guys they liked still in the match, between Owens and Sami Zayn, who made his return and eliminated Kevin Owens. So I'm kind of curious now, are we going to have Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania, or Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania? That should be interesting. Zayn eliminated Owens, so maybe we'll get a follow-up with that, maybe we won't, who knows. Maybe that's just the end of it, that's Sami's revenge, and he's just going to stay on NXT for a while. Not sure what's going to happen with that, but either match will be incredible, and maybe you can do Jericho versus AJ if you do Owens versus Zayn. We'll see what happens with that. Or maybe Owens versus Undertaker, which is still a possibility. So then you had the Wyatt family, the 3 members minus Bray, cleaning house, and Michael Cole was like, I'm not sure who can come out there and eliminate the Wyatt family, who can get these guys out. And then sure enough, that's the cue for Brock Lesnar to come out. Brock takes everybody to Suplex City, eliminates all the Wyatt family members, and then Jack Swagger comes out. And one thing I want to note here about Michael Cole's commentary, immediately when Jack Swagger came out, Cole started running down all these stats, and to me that came off as really fake. Like, Cole has all the notes pre-written, and I think they should just change that up so there's a little bit of time before he starts reading off all these stats. When he starts reading them off immediately, it just seems very scripted and fake. Just wanted to throw that out there. And Swagger was quickly eliminated, and of course JBL had to mention that Swagger was a former world champion. Speaking of world champions, Miz came out and just sat there on commentary for a while. That was fine. Then you had Bray Wyatt come out, and he summoned the rest of the Wyatt family to beat up Brock Lesnar. So they did, and unlike the League of Nations, the Wyatt family members beat up Brock Lesnar in the ring. But the weird thing here is that instead of Bray, the legal guy in the match, eliminating Brock Lesnar, he has the guys in his Wyatt family throw out Brock Lesnar, even though they were no longer legally part of the match. So technically, Brock Lesnar was illegally eliminated, to quote Gorilla Monsoon from 1997. But of course, the rules change, and I guess people that aren't in the match can eliminate people that are in the match. Whatever. Yeah, the logic always bugged me, and that was really my biggest criticism of this match overall. So anyways, from this point, it was very predictable. Roman Reigns came back out, hit the Superman punch on Sheamus. Huge boos for Roman Reigns when he made his comeback as expected. And then number 30, surprise, surprise, Triple H himself. If nobody else can do it, you got to do it yourself. That's the old saying, and I'm sure that'll be Triple H's reasoning. Triple H comes out, and Bray Wyatt gets eliminated. I believe the final four was Triple H, Reigns, Ambrose, and Sheamus. And Sheamus gets tossed out by Reigns, and then surprisingly, Reigns gets tossed out by Triple H, and it's down to Ambrose and Triple H having a stare down in the ring. Now, part of me wanted to see Ambrose stare at Triple H, and then all of a sudden they laugh and they hug, and Triple H jumps over the top rope, and Ambrose is the new corporate champion as a heel. Part of me wanted to see that so badly, but of course, Ambrose fought off Triple H, and the crowd was really into Ambrose as a face, so, WWE's not going to turn him heel, but I think I would have preferred that over Triple H as the heel champion facing Roman Reigns. But, this is what happens when all these guys are hurt, between John Cena and Seth Rollins and even Cesaro. With all these injuries, Triple H has to fill in the void, and I guess that's WWE's reasoning here. And to be fair, it's a solid defense for WWE to have Triple H winning the Royal Rumble, eliminating Dean Ambrose, and becoming champion. They need a top heel. It would have been nice if they built up somebody else, but at the end of the day, they need the star power for WrestleMania, and they need it more than usual because of all the injuries. So I cut them some slack here. Triple H, the new champion, and unfortunately we're going to have to deal with 20-minute Triple H promos again like it's the year 2000 all over, or 2003, but so be it. Overall, I enjoyed the Rumble match, and I understand why they booked it the way they did. It was fairly predictable with Triple H winning. They tried to announce it like it was a big shock, but everybody on NoDQ.com, the majority voted for Triple H, and Triple H was my prediction, so wasn't a big shock at all, but it makes sense. In some ways it makes sense to have a top heel for WrestleMania. So there you have it. Overall, I'll give the show a thumbs up. Wasn't the best show in the world, but better than previous years, and AJ Styles debuting was awesome, and if he wasn't going to win, they did a very good job with him. That was the next best thing for him to have a very good showing in the Rumble match, and looking forward to what they do with AJ moving forward. So that wraps it up for my thoughts on the Rumble. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and looks like I'll be keeping the beard a while longer because nothing happened with heel turns or AJ winning. So with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Thank you guys very much for watching.